I flipping love pasta. Really do. In fact, next to British cuisine, I revere Italian food in much the same way. So today we're going to knock up pasta Arrabbiata, and it's one of the quickest, easiest, cheapest, well, we'll come on to that in a second, pastas that you're ever going to make. In terms of cost of living, budget busting recipes, this one's up there. But before we crack on, say hello to this fella. His foot up in the air again. Say hello to your fans. They like to see you. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. When you do subscribe, make sure you hit the bell icon, allow all notifications, so when I do upload videos, you get notified. All right, I'll let you down. Sorry, mate. But get your fizz down here. Let's make some pasta Arrabbiata. Before we get stuck in, though, I need to address the ingredients that we're using. Because if I start cooking away, people might notice, hang on a minute, Adam, you're using some really flippin' bougie ingredients in this. What in the cost of living crisis are you doing? The dish itself is very simple, and it comes from a way of Italian cooking called cucina povera, which roughly translates as poor kitchen. In essence, it means frugality, making the best of what you got, thrift, and all that kind of stuff. So why, Adam, are you using bougie ingredients? The short of it is when I make dishes that use very few ingredients, I do like to treat myself, splash out and get the best that I can afford. But here's the thing, you don't have to do that. You absolutely don't have to do that. And to illustrate this, I've got 3 types of pasta here. A really bougie one, which I picked up from the Italian deli. That was like £3.80. Mid-range one here from M&S, that was £2. Or you've got ordinary bog standard cheap spaghetti, which was like £1 or just over. There's choice there. You absolutely don't have to buy this pasta or that one. You can use the cheap one. It's still going to come out fine. I don't want you to feel restricted because I'm using bloody stupid expensive stuff because I like to splash my cash on food. You don't have to do that. Same with the olive oil. I've got a cheapo, just ordinary standard bottle of olive oil from Tesco. And I've got a nice one that I treated myself to today from the Italian deli. Same with the tin of tomatoes. I've got some San Marzano ones here. They will taste really nice in the dish, but please don't feel restricted like you have to get these particular ones. If all you can afford are the cheap 50p cans, get those. They will tend to be a bit more acidic, but just add a pinch of sugar. Now, apart from that, I've got some garlic. I'm using 3 cloves. If you want it less punchy, use 2. Fresh basil, which I don't think basil's traditionally in Arrabbiata, but I like to add it. Parsley, and I've got some chilies as well. I'm using fresh ones, but if you haven't got those, dried chili flakes? Dried chili flakes will work fine. And on that, right, okay, I don't smoke, I don't go out to parties, I rarely go out to restaurants. So this is what I like to spend my money on. You know, this is how I treat myself. I like to buy nice food. And my point is that if you've got something that makes you happy, and I've said this before, whether it be a chocolate bar, a magazine, you indulge in a hobby like sewing, you might like flower arranging, you might be into cars, you might be into motorbikes, and that's your little corner, that's your thing that makes you happy in this show. And without getting too political, don't let those bastards that are governing us tell you otherwise. You know, they'll say, oh, you shouldn't have that coffee, you shouldn't have that Netflix account. Remember, they don't care about you, they don't care about me. What they want is for you to be miserable, eating gruel, and you'll be thankful for it. They can off. Your mental health is extremely important. And heck, if a £7 can of tomatoes makes me happy, then so bloody be it. All right, but please, just use what you can afford. And of course, we need to do a bit of prep. So I'm just going to finely slice up the garlic. You could mince it if you want, but you don't have to. I'm going to take a chilli, cut that open. I'm going to take out the seeds and the membrane. The membrane is the hottest part of the chilli. That sort of white pithy bit. Its proper name is actually a placenta. And then again, I'll just chop that nice and fine. You don't need to do anything with the basil because we're just going to take some leaves and just tear them straight in. The parsley, you want to finely chop that as well. I'm not going to use all of it, but don't worry. If you're thinking about waste, like, well, what am I going to do with the rest of the parsley? Just chop it up as normal. And what you don't use, just pack it into an ice cube tray, top it up with water, whack it in the freezer until they're frozen solid. Take them back out, stick them in a bag, label them up as well so you know what it is. And then you've got nice little cubes of parsley which you can whack into your dishes as and when you need them. And obviously whatever basil you've got left, you can do the same with that as well. It will only work with leafy herbs though, so like basil, parsley, tarragon, coriander, you know, herbs like that. Let's get this big boy out. Let's make some pasta Arrabbiata. So to the pan then, I'm going to add some olive oil. You want quite a lot. I'm going to go for like a good couple of tablespoons. Straight in with the chilli and the garlic. And then straight on with the gas. And you want it fairly low because you don't want to run the risk of that garlic burning. Now Arrabbiata comes from Lazio in Italy. And the word Arrabbiata means angry, which is why I've got lots of chilli in there. I know, because what's a chilli? I suppose it's an angry pepper, isn't it really? And all we need to do is just gently sizzle that garlic and chilli just until it's fragrant. But don't burn the garlic because if you burn it, it'll taste bitter and rancid and horrible and the whole thing is ruined. And whilst it's sizzling away, Get the tomatoes into a bowl and then take a clean hand and just lightly crush them. Plum tomatoes always seem to taste better than chopped. I'm assuming it's because they're less processed, but they just tend to be nicer. Doesn't have to be like super smooth, but you want to make like a bit of a, well, passata really. And then add them straight to your garlic and chilli. And I will swill out the can with just a bit of water so we don't waste any. And I'm going to move it to the back hob because we need this larger hob to cook the pasta. So I'll get that on nice and low, just to simmer away, really. Now I need a big pot. And you need a large pot to cook your pasta in. If the pot's too small, obviously there's not enough volume for the pasta to cook and it'll become starchy and claggy. Plenty of water, big pot, you're golden. So I'm just going to fill this pot up with water and then I'll put it onto the hob. We'll bring it to the boil and then we'll add the pasta. Now your sauce is going to take about 20 to 30 minutes to cook down. Not like a ragu sauce which takes hours and hours. It's a very easy, simple little sauce this. But I am going to just add a bit of seasoning. So a little bit of salt. Go careful on the salt because we added salt to the pasta water, which is obviously going to impart its flavour into the pasta. We don't want it too salty, so we can add more, but we can't take away. Plenty of black pepper. Right, the water's boiling, so we can add the pasta. And yes, I'm going to use my bougie pasta, but you don't have to. And I don't need to like cut it with scissors or out. Just get your pasta packet and go bosh, straight in. Freaking well hard, me. And you can use any pasta you like. Fusilli, penne is great as well, rigatoni, whatever you like. And cook it to packet instructions, probably less 1 minute because we're going to finish it off in the sauce. So this pasta is going to take me about 10 minutes, I'd say. So see you in a second. Now the spaghetti is about, I'd say about 4 or 5 minutes away. So I'm going to add my chopped parsley to the sauce and flick it all over the bleeding place. Well done, Adam. Nice that you keep your flipping kitchen tidy, eh? Give it a bit of a mix. And at this stage, the sauce is going to be quite thick. Okay, but that's fine. That's what you want. It's going to concentrate the flavour. But we're going to let it down a little bit, if we need to, with some of the pasta water. And a little tip for you as well, right? If you want to know if your pasta's done, taste it. Don't listen to people when they say, "I'll just throw it against the wall. If it sticks, it's done." It's total nonsense. Oh, it's gone on top of the cupboard. Okay, so that can shut off. And then literally just take your spaghetti and add it straight to your sauce. Don't chuck away the pasta water, leave that in there because we might need a little bit of that to loosen it. And at this stage, all your cooking is done. So you can turn off the heat, just work that pasta through. Get it coated in that sauce. I might add just a touch of pasta water, just a little bit. To loosen it ever so slightly. You don't want it like soupy, just, you know, saucy. And then lastly, I'm just going to tear in some basil leaves. Don't be precious with it, just as many as you like. I'd say about 8 leaves, you're going to be fine. And there you have it, folks. Pasta Arrabbiata. Easy. Let's try it. It's stone cold right now, but that's, I beg your pardon. That's the problem with being a YouTuber. Sometimes this happens, but let's go in anyway. Those San Marzano tomatoes make all the difference to this. They've got more body to them. They've got a richer, sweeter taste. They just make this dish. Even if I gave you some, bud, you wouldn't like it. You can just smell food, so you want some. So there we go. Really simple little pasta Arrabbiata. Absolute doddle to make. And the best thing about it, you can tailor it to your budget. You don't have to go bougie like I did. You know, you can get cheaper stuff. It's fine. And you can finish that off with some cheese, like some pecorino, parmesan if you've got it. But on its own, it's just fine as well. I don't know what's up with him. He thinks I'm going to give this to him. Look, I'll get you some treats in a minute, all right? Just calm your tits. All right, I'll see your gorgeous faces next time. Bye for now. Come on then, look, I'll get you some treats.